Hello CDA2, this is your Module 8 explanation. We're going to go into the second part of positive guidance. And so the first part is being proactive, things that you can do in your classroom to prevent off-task behavior, misbehavior. And this part is what happens when misbehavior happens. So you put everything in place, you've got activities, it's stimulating, you've offered choices. What happens when misbehavior occurs? So what do you do at that point, and how do you get somebody back on track? So for the checklist, you've got a discussion and an assignment. This is your last competency statement. It's going to be related to 3, which will be the last 3 functional areas of self, social, and guidance. So first we're going to have a discussion over challenging behaviors because, and especially like all behavior is communication. Somebody is telling you something. They want you to know something about the anxiety, the experience, their attention span, something negative that's happening to them. And so we really have to figure out what it is. So first I want you to list out what is your guidance policy, and then what happens if somebody decides not to follow the rules. And then how do you deal with those challenging behaviors? And challenging behaviors is something that consistently happens over and over and over again. How do you do it? What do you do for a perpetual biter? What do you do for a perpetual runner? Something along those lines. And what happens if your plan doesn't work? What is plan B? So I've had to go to plan like Z before, trying to figure out a strategy that will help my friend focus. So initial posts and comments are by Wednesday because that's the official day the course ends, because the final is Thursday. Posts must be done on 2 different days. Then you've got competency statement 3, and this is going to be looking at the social emotional development and positive guidance. So you're going to have one statement that starts off with how you meet these. Now you may give specific examples, you may describe things in your room, things along those lines. And then after this one paragraph or 2, then you need to go in and have a CS3, A, and B, and then describe some ways you support the development of children's positive self-concepts. You can refer back to the discussion board that we did a couple weeks ago, and then a second paragraph on guiding young children's positive behaviors. And then how does this align with your professional philosophy? And so my idea is that all behaviors is communication, and it's the teacher's job to figure out the skill that is needed or the need that needs to be met and provide that, and then that will help the child, because really you are trying to be the external locus of control as they try and figure out how to do it on their own, if that makes sense. And then how do you constructively deal with young children's challenging behaviors? So that's going to be competency statement 3. And then next is your final. Now it's a 75 point final, and I'll let you look at it. So what you're going to do is you're going to describe 3 examples of learning, and I'll show you the quiz. So what you're going to do is, when it comes to the first SLO, to explain methods and establish a safe and healthy environment, what is one takeaway that you're going to take away from it? It could be a concept about nutrition. It could be something about a room design. It could be a practice that you now have in place. 2, your SLO is going to be social and emotional development. And so what are you doing? Maybe you have more pictures out now. Maybe you have more artwork displayed in the classroom. Maybe you realize that children need to feel valued and appreciated, and so these things help them. And each one of them are worth 25 points, and your last one has to do with describe positive guidance techniques. Ones that you, maybe it's more of a connection now. A lot of people want to talk about challenging behaviors, and I can never have one straight answer for them because I have to know the extenuating circumstances behind the behavior. Maybe you're asking them to sit for 30 minutes and they're 2 and they can only sit for 10. And of course, then you're going to get misbehavior. And it's nothing that the child does, they just haven't developed that self-control yet and that ability to sit for that long. So something along those lines, and then you'll hit the submit quiz. And that's it. And we'll be done. So it is 75. I guess I didn't refresh this quiz. But it is 25 points per. And so that is your final. And I look forward to seeing you on the discussion boards and finishing up strong this week. Have a great last week.